Hey guys, we're here for episode 8. It's been a while. We haven't had an episode in a while because we've had some injuries here and some drama. We talked about a little last time. So we're going to talk today about what do you do in the face of injuries when you've got competitions. You can't stop. You got to keep going. So we've got Eva and Anthony here. They might have had an injury or two that we could talk about. And then we've got old Dr. Hauck here, and he's going to talk about the nutrition and trying to maintain your health during your workouts and in the competitions and things like that.
Yeah.
I break it, you fix it.
This one's ending up to me, yeah.
Some people are determined that
Can you fix this one? We'll see.
I'm testing.
Well, the last one was, of course, you had the huge hole constricted in the hospital.
It was like a bad dream.
Yeah. But underneath that, we didn't talk about that. You had a little wrist issue too.
Oh, yeah, I was battling whatever is going on. I get some tightness. I seem to carry that in my neck. And so my wrist was bothering me. So to pull, not so much push, but to pull anything was just wrecking my life. So we had to do a whole bunch of doctoring on that. And then, of course, as you get heavier, things get tighter, and you have to be more diligent in your mobility routine and warming up and making sure that everything is, flowing properly. And that's I gotta get better at that.
So as you get closer to a contest, you do prioritize mobility more so than like 16 weeks out, or?
Yeah, like right now, we're 8 weeks out from this contest, and personally for myself, when I start to reach the level of weights that I'm at now, and some of these weights are now uncharted territory, things are starting to get really tight. So after a session, I feel really beat up. I was at work last night and bent over the counter just because my back was sore. It's just because the weights are so heavy.
Right.
So I need to make sure, that I'm stretching. I'm taking like Epsom salt baths, getting in to see Bill to iron me out. But it's really important to maintain those processes within the process so that you can keep going. Because if you don't, things can get too tight, and that's when you start overcompensating maybe on one side, and you never know what can happen.
Has that been the story all your career, or are you lately seeing the importance of that, or is that something you've always done?
You know what, it's crazy. When I really first started, I was just in bodybuilding primarily. I never did powerlifting. And I always went to go see a massage therapist. I'd go once every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
When I started to powerlift, and then I was when I really started to get into heavy weights, I was like, okay, I need to take care of this. So I'd actually go see somebody twice a week, an upper body day and a lower body day, and he would literally iron me out on where I couldn't do it myself. And I found that really helped.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it makes you stronger too, because if things are all bound up and
you
your muscle fibers are all stuck together, you
Yeah.
feel like you're like this, right? And instead of you can relax and actually move properly.
Get blood
through putting some movement.
Engage the muscles, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's extremely important. And we've been traveling on the weekends to go train our heavy lifts. And we've been going down to see Donnie Thompson at the compound. And that's a fantastic place. If you're a power lifter, you need to go there. You need to talk to Donnie Thompson. He's amazing. I'm a huge advocate of him, a fan. I'm a 100% fan. He does body tempering. He actually has a seminar going on this weekend. And what it is these huge cylinders of weight, one he calls the ex-wife, and you put it on your body, and it literally, he tempered our entire body. And it's not so, you can go to the rehab aspect of it, but really it's your body being the ability to hold the weight.
Sheer performance.
It becomes stronger.
Creating blood flow, circulation.
Exactly. And
how do you use it? Arousing the muscle groups.
Exactly. And he did it on our back and our hamstrings. And we squatted there last weekend, and it was fantastic in how I felt, just the difference in how I performed.
It's amazing how people overlook that important aspect of
They do. If you're doing it seriously, if you're really getting into it and you're lifting heavy weights
every day,
why are you not going to look after your body?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. You're an accident waiting to
take better care of your car than your body.
And we want to do this for a long time. Not sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you want to keep competing, you've got to do the extra work, even as tedious as it may be.
Anthony, you've never had any injuries, so how do you avoid injury? Seamless life.
I was just going to say, as a young athlete, coming up playing football into college, I was a relatively healthy athlete. nicks and knacks, being the small back, you got bumps and bruises, but I was never, not until the end of my career was when I had the complete knee reconstruction, and that kind of changed the way I was an athlete, coming into my powerlifting, years. The one major thing that I took for granted was when you under a strength and conditioning coach, being in college sports, you're constantly stretching. It's just a part of the routine. You get there, you warm up, you're in some kind of mobility or stretching routine.
Right.
It's like not conscious. Now into my lifting career, I would come in, work out, but there was a period of time where I really neglected a lot of that mobility, that prehab work that kind of keeps you healthy.
That you've been doing.
That I had always just done because that's what you do. You get the team, you stretch, you're getting that work in, but it's changed now. Now my leverages have changed. I've become, instead of being that explosive, I'm still more of an explosive or speed athlete, but it's a different kind of athlete. I'm not running as much. I'm not working on my ankles. I'm not, there's certain things that you can't mimic not, playing those types of sports. So that's for me. Eva and I have really been trying to put together a plan in these later times because my leverages have changed so much. I've become a very tight upper body, hips, glutes, things that, now granted, 2-3 years of these heavy loaded squats have certainly changed that mobility and some of those levers for me. So it's getting back into some kind of formal routine, whether it's a stretching protocol, which you should have anyway, before every single workout, but mobility work on off days and working in different types of routines to kind of keep those those things activated so you don't get hurt.
I'm not trying to sound like a promotional poster here for products or anything, but we when we went to the IPL Worlds, our sponsor from Kevin Pittman from Anderson Powerlifting, they gave us one of these. It's a sphere ball. It's like this shape, and it actually has 3 levels of speed on it where it vibrates.
I'm going to be doing a post on it later this week,
and it's so cool because if you put it up against your body, if you lay on top of it, it actually will help iron out some of the tightness.
It's a little fashion.
So we've been using that before we come to the gym.
All juiced up. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I love that. It's a fantastic little tiny tool. That, and I mean a good old lacrosse ball. I mean, if you're really looking to give some give it to yourself. But as far as that goes, I find those tools are much better than just using a foam roller and rolling around on the floor. That does absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah, it depends on the athlete you're dealing with. So you've got to get in there deeply.
We have a boomstick too from Kabuki, and that's really cool. It doesn't weigh as much as the ex-wife from Donnie Thompson's, it's 70 or 90 pounds, but just to roll out the quads, or to set it onto your bicep tendons, things like in the forearms, all that kind of stuff that helps. So we use that too.
What do you do for athletes that are not weekend warriors, but always abusing themselves? So what kind of things do you, other than soft tissue, obviously, nutritionally?
Well, soft tissue work, the myostructure reorganization, the deep tissue. I mean, I like what you're talking about with the compression stuff. I like to separate as well to pull that all apart. It's a kind of a twist in a theme, but it seems to help to pull stuff apart a little bit more. Get in there from a nutritional standpoint, looking at like a Boswellia complex to help keep inflammation levels down, improve healing a lot better.
You're always in a state of
that's a Manual product. Standard Process got some really great things. Ligaplex, high in manganese, really toughens the ligaments up very nicely. Helps keep things strong. So you do recover a lot quicker. You bounce back. It seems to keep the inflammation a lot lower as well. So
and that's not just
for healing,
but is that just injury or is it maintenance too? I mean,
it's maintenance and injury all the way through. So it's almost it can be a preventative, and that's a huge thing.
It's something that should be in your arsenal and be thinking about.
So because you don't need it, you can use it. You can use it on both ends of the spectrum. You can use it as a preventative, but if you do get hurt, you can also amp it up a little bit and also take care of it. As a preventative, it helps recovery. It helps to prevent those injuries from happening.
Right.
And see, one of the coolest things that I like for myself, and I'll only speak for me, Anthony, but you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with.
Gotta have a good team,
And
yeah.
you have to have a team, especially when you're doing anything like, you can't do this shit alone. You can't lift these weights. You can't
No.
be the best with just by
Exactly.
yourself.
Be
You
on that
have,
level.
you have to have a good team. And one of the cool things about, you know, having you as a coach is that not only are you an awesome tag team, but what was neat when I met you was you not only are you a chiropractor, but you have this, you're a massage therapist too, so it's 2 in 1.
Right,
So
yeah,
when you
right.
go in to see you, you can do both of those things, and I've never really had anybody like that before. And then coupled with nutrition and learning to get strength through that, like, I mean, it's been crazy the amount of gains that we've made just because of that.
Well, what's cool is that you're going to transition
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
I'll get my hands on it soon,
And it
but
gets even more fun.
I just
Yeah.
I admire from afar now.
Yeah.
But when I get hands on you, you've got all these ideas. They'll be manipulated a little bit, but you understand that you'll be in your body, and you're already like that. It's typical. I can't say typical, but a lot of power lifters are about that weight. You know, about moving, and so everybody's in the pool as far as your body is concerned, and you don't care about how you get there. You know, you're just gonna lift that weight, pull that weight, or whatever it is. But in bodybuilding, you have to focus on certain things. So you have to be in your body.
That's
you know?
right, and you know what, and as a dual athlete, a conversation that we just had, my conscious, what I'm always thinking about is, we were talking about me being really tight the other night, and I said, listen, you know, like, I've got to get this ironed out, I'm feeling this way, and my biggest concern is, well, if I'm too tight on one side, then all of a sudden I'm going to start overcompensating, and then I'm going to not be symmetrical anymore.
Hello.
So
that's exactly right.
not only
Right. But
am
my power
I
could
thinking
get hell with
about
that.
my weights,
Yeah.
as a dual athlete, I'm
Yeah.
constantly thinking, how is that going to change the way I look?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to be on top of that too, because I have more than one ambition.
Yes.
You know,
yes,
and so that's
yes.
a difference, I suppose, for myself,
Yeah.
just focusing on, like most of the girls that I compete against, they just power lift.
Exactly.
But I have to think about both of those things because I want to
Exactly,
excel at
right,
both.
right. And you have to maintain a really high degree of sensitivity to your aches and pains,
Yes.
because you can't afford to get injured.
That's right.
You know, who wants to get injured? But you're looking at not only getting that competition in powerlifting under your belt, but then moving on and doing, you know, 180 into physique.
That's right.
So
You have to stay pretty.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, yes.
That's the word, because we're going to be pretty when we're training. We're
Yeah.
going to stay pretty in our technique. Well, some are going to be extra pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
But we try. But
Shirts and
Joe,
stuff.
that was
It's gonna
for
be
you.
good.
you can get Hobaica pretty. You're damn pretty. But you have to your form.
Mm-hmm.
And like I always say, you don't do anything in the gym that's not going to translate on the stage.
That's right.
Why are you doing that?
That's
right. And the weights, you look at them a different way.
Mhm.
Now you're using them a different way, and so it's good that you're mindful of that. So I think that transition is going to be easier for you,
Mhm.
and you also know where you're going. So if you're squatting 225, you're not going to go, oh, you know, this is not enough. You know, throw some. You're going to know I'm putting some energy into places that I haven't yet.
Mhm.
So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm excited about the stage because I've started. You know, we kind of touched on a little bit on what shows, and I'm starting to think about that today. The conversation we had was, well, it's time to sign up. You know, for the New Year Pro card and
Mhm.
things like
Yeah.
that. So just mentally starting to gear up and thinking about that. It's exciting.
Yeah, well, as a dual, that kind of keeps you going. I mean, that keeps you going. Another competition, whatever it is, that keeps you eating that meal instead of that meal, or doing this session instead of that session.
They used to make fun of me so much when I was in Canada, when I was at where I used to work, just because it was always, oh, Eva's so many weeks out, she's
Yeah.
15 weeks out, she's
Always out.
how can you
Yeah.
always be that many weeks out or something? And it's
Yeah.
just like, well, I don't know, it's just, you have to have goals, and for me, I just like to take those weeks and say, okay, I'm going to accomplish this week
Right.
to get to the big goal.
Right,
You know, you have to
right.
break those
That
down.
translates into your
You
private
get
life
one
and
bite
other
at a
life
time.
too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It
but
really
but
does.
you want to apply for a CPA or whatever you're going to do. There's kind of that goal setting. you know,
Yeah.
and drawing yourself, and then once you've accomplished that goal, you now know that you can do that.
And you know, it's funny, we always use the lifting as a reference, but you know, people that are in fitness in general, they don't have to be world-class powerlifters. They don't have to be IFBB pros.
Right.
But all of that discipline and relentlessness and focus that we have here, and consistency that
Yeah.
we try to have,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, that we've talked about that before. That trickles into all other areas of your life. And that's something that I always try to be an advocate for,
Yes.
because everything that I've learned in the gym, I can translate into making me a better person
Right,
outside of
right.
the gym.
That's what
It
you're
makes
excited
me-
about,
makes me
selling it to
a
other
better
people.
employee, you know.
Right, right.
And it makes me a better wife. It
Yeah.
makes me, you know, a better friend in
Right.
lots of ways, just because I'm always thinking about that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Conscious of
So I
how
tell my
actions-
clients, never boo anybody who gets up on that stage.
That's right.
Because you know what they've gone through and what that means when they're standing on stage,
Mm-hmm.
the discipline that they have put, and that myopic vision that they had of one goal for 6 months, 3, whatever it was. They put everything aside and focused on that.
It's funny, I had a couple people this week when I was at work ask me, because I get it all the time, I feel kind of like a circus animal sometimes when I'm there, and they'll say to me, you know, like people that I'm serving, what do you like better? Do you like bodybuilding or powerlifting? And it's such a hard question to say, because they're two totally separate things.
Right,
I like them each for what they stand for and what they offer me, you know
Right,
what I mean? And so, is that a bad opening?
Yeah. Got to pay bills.
Bodybuilding gods.
You like bodybuilding?
But it's funny. I like when we're in the season of, you know, right now we're in powerlifting season, and I like this season just because, you know, we can eat a bit more food, or we can enjoy certain things, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
in bodybuilding, it's 24/7. Not that powerlifting isn't, but it's the diet, nutrition, everything has to be on point because it shows.
Yeah.
You know.
I call it the tunnel.
It is.
There's only one way out.
That's true.
And even now, I get a little, you know, butterflies in my stomach when you think about getting in the tunnel.
Yeah.
But
And nobody understands what that tunnel is unless they've done it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I have so many people that are all like, oh, well, there's a difference between dieting for weight loss and dieting for conditioning.
Oh, yeah.
It's totally different. It's not the
It is.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's not at all. But unless you're in it with
Yeah.
somebody or you've done it,
Yeah.
you just don't understand.
And we have a client, and he was, yeah, I'm gonna do this, yeah, I'm all on board, I'm hardcore and whatnot. And he was out picking the kids up some food at a Chinese restaurant. Who do we see? This kid's out there eating Chinese food.
Well, yeah.
What did he call it, a cheat meal?
Yeah, and you know, and there was.
Refeed. I'm a refeed.
No matter how you talk about it.
That's funny. I said, that's funny, we never talked about that. I missed that conversation we had.
We don't do cheat meals. I don't know what we talk about cheat meals. That's right.
But
All right. So I think we have come to the end of our time, but
coming closer, yeah. So, but.
what we talked about the injuries and coming back from it. I think the key is to listen to your body and keep your nutrition, because you were able to come back from hospital stays,
Right.
and you had the wrist issue too. But I think you, being you, that's mind over matter.
Right.
Kind of like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just I just grit my teeth and I think, oh, it's just. And I go into the gym and it's like this week with deadlifts, you know. And I last week I hit I think it was 500 for some block pulls and sumo. I'm trying this whole sumo thing out. And this week, you know, I went in and I did 515. When I'm in the lift, and I just have to say this because Brando will appreciate this. But I'm in the lift and the first one, it felt like death. I was like, whoa, it's so heavy. I'm trying to go up, and I was only supposed to do one. But then I was like, no, if you can do one, you can do two. And when I did two, I did the third one for him, so I thought, you know what, I got more.
Yeah.
But it's that internal drive when I'm doing things. It's just like, I just can't give up. I can't let off the gas because I know what it means. I know where I have to be.
And kids,
You
this
know?
is where nutrition is important, because when she came off of when she came out of the hospital, she dove right back into training, and it kicked her ass, and rightfully so, because she was still fighting the infection.
Yes.
So in a different thing, in a different
Thanks,
nuance.
Bill.
No, it's funny though, because she's saying, you know, oh,
but a different
I'm frustrated.
nuance,
Yeah, and he's like, well, you were in the hospital like 2 days ago. I don't understand why
I
am I
can't
not
bench
feeling
press
good.
400
Yeah,
pounds.
exactly.
So the nuance of this is
Take
she's still on antibiotics, but the antibiotics are wiping her out. Because
That's what
the
they
thing
do.
is, because they kind of crop dust all the bacteria, good and bad. And when that happens, your ability to process food goes down, your inflammation goes up, you have fluid retention, it knocks you for a loop. So then we had to go from a different perspective on that one. So
Absolutely.
so we went for nutritional yeast at that point, because obviously you're taking antibiotics, so if we gave you probiotics, they'd get wiped out. So we had to give you nutritional yeast to basically kind of get a foothold in there in the intestines so you could continue to roll.
And I just want to say this too, for anybody that doesn't understand what that's all about, if you are sick, if you've been down and out, the night and day difference within 2 days of taking those supplements that you gave me, and like, I don't even know what they all do, but they're all natural. You really should contact him and ask him, email him, or write a letter on the post, just because it made the world of difference in how.
But you're not going to be deadlifting 500 pounds.
But when you're coming back from an infection, there's ways to do it, and you have to look at it because you needed the antibiotics, but you also need the nutritional support to get through there, because you need to stimulate the immune system, your immune system, to function properly. What people think is you take an antibiotic and that's stimulating your immune system. It's not. It's actually weakening it. So you have to come in and support it. That's what we did through calcium lactate, through a type of vitamin C product, and also through a polyunsaturated fat, which stimulates the white blood cells, and we can go into all the nuances of it, but it breaks it down into basically the immune system working better. And like you said, 48 hours later, you're coming back, you're back on track and going back up.
I felt night and day difference. I felt so drug out. I couldn't sleep. Food was bothering my stomach. Like I didn't feel like eating. The indigestion, it was awful, and it was literally night and day difference in how I felt.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference. So
Most people.
So there's another one of those squiggly lines.
Life is squiggly lines. It really is.
Tired of those.
You got all ends of your game, man. And if you're serious, you cover all your bases: nutrition and the mental game that you were just talking about.
If you're gonna do something, that's what I've always done. If you're gonna really do something, why wouldn't you do it to the best that you could possibly do it? Why would you leave these stones unturned, knowing at the end of the day, well, maybe I could have done that and I could have been a bit better? Why live like that?
That could have been awesome.
Because you are afraid to see what it may be. Don't be afraid to pursue those things. I think those things are.
And be knowledgeable. Learn about your sport. Learn about your body.
You do. You have to be open-minded to that.
The more you learn about that, the more excited you're going to be about your sport, your body, and whatnot. Because you're going to be knowledgeable, and then you can be a blessing to other people too.
That's right.
So, all right, kids. Oh, I did want to give a shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Gene Bell, for giving me this awesome shirt. I gotta show off the back of it too. Now, if you can see it. But anyway, thanks, Gene. I love it. I love you, and we'll see you guys soon.
I love your hat. Us versus them.
Story of my life, kids. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you soon. All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.